waiting for my internet. Okay.
It's not a real fire. It can't burn you. Fake fireside.
Hey, everybody. It is Tracy here from Beyond Obedience, and it is time once again for Fake Fireside Chats with Tracy and Rue. That's all you get is a tail wag. Oh, she lifted her head. Nice. All right. Today's question is brought to us by Marianne. Marianne on Living Beyond Obedience. She wrote, and it's a long one, so buckle down. Gus, who is now 18 months old, has been doing something for the past few months that has me and hubby on opposing sides. Ooh. I'm pack leader, so this needs to be nipped in the bud. Sidebar, for the longest time, I used to think that saying was nipped in the butt, like B-U-T-T. Just like in the past 4 years, figured out that that was nipped in the bud. And then I was like, what does that even mean? Turns out I don't know anything about gardening. All right. For some reason, Gus likes to start chewing on hubby approximately 7 p.m. every night. No one else, just hubby. He tried it on me once. That was a hard no. But hubby thought it was cute and playful, and it never stopped him. I got tired real quick of trying to make them stop. Gus is now 75 pounds. And apparently it's no longer cute or playful. Yeah. This leads me to my next problem. No surprise, he started to do it on others. My friends are mostly dog people. Hard no him once and the end of story. But I also have an 80-year-old mother who visits and friends with kids who have been by and they have a problem with it. Of course, right? I deal with it in 3 ways. 1, if visitors are used to dogs and are okay with it, I'll keep Gus on a leash and have him stay in his spot. This works really well for short visits. 2, for longer visits, like when mom comes over, the leash idea does not work so well. So if he starts up, he usually ends up outside. And 3, I thank hubby repeatedly for undermining me and blaming entirely for this situation. Yes, because blaming is the #1 thing that you need to do in all marital problems. You know, this is not going to be a fake fireside chat about dogs anymore. This is now going to be marriage counseling 101. Blaming. That's how we do it. Oh, Marianne, I love you. Okay. She said, note that her 2 dogs have strong routines at home with walk and playtime. They always add an extra walk or extra playtime for Gus before people come over. Also tried incorporating my friend's arrival time into playtime, when I can, so shows up. We hang out on the deck for a while and play fetch or whatever. I found this to be effective, which kind of makes me think it could be a confidence or a trust thing for Gus, ? I'm not sure how to fix this going forward. Hubby is a dog person, has shepherds his whole life. He understands the whole need for consistency thing, and he's not being a complete about this, but he recognizes that this is coming back to bite him in the butt. See, this would be a good place where you could say butt. Is this some kind of property dominance thing for Gus? Is it a confidence thing? I am writing this. I'm realizing he doesn't do it to everybody, but generally it occurs when we spend lots of time indoors visiting, so less distraction for Gus. Boredom, perhaps. I'm not entirely sure what to do about it. Any ideas? Thank you very much for that question. It was very entertaining. I enjoyed it thoroughly, especially the blaming hubby for stuff. I hope he's tuning in. Okay, so I'll put my iPad over here. I will let you know that I've put a lot of thought into this. I've broken down your question, and there's lots of things with arrows and tabs and whatnot. That's how in depth I got into this. But I want to make sure that you, as well as anyone else that this may benefit, this sort of dives a little bit deeper than here's the answer. And of course it is, you have to get your husband in check. I want it to be deeper than that. I want it to be more than that, As much as I love blaming husbands for stuff, and I do, sometimes we need to dig a little bit deeper and figure out what's going on. So I am once again going to break this question up into 3 parts for your enjoyment. The first part, which we will talk about today, is going to be the obedience of it. The second part is going to be the beyond obedience answer. And then as a new added addition, I am also going to include for this one, a slap you in the face reality check. Okay? All right. So the obedience answer, and I did ask you this in the comments below. I asked you if Gus knew place command. And your answer was yes and no. So I'm gonna throw in a little slap you in the face with this response here, Marianne. Just so you know, that answer is either yes or no. Not yes and no. The dog can't sort of know it. It's either he knows it or he doesn't know it, right? And when we get sort of a little bit more real about that, then we can really start to utilize place the way that it was meant to be utilized, okay? For our dogs to deal with getting the real in-depth calm on command where the dogs are really just chill about everything, you have to work on a lot of duration place. So when you're making statements like, yes, he does get on place, but he will eventually get off, he's not understanding place. There's no getting off of place when you don't want to do it anymore. That's not how that works. So I would say that would be my first place to start, is to actually go back and commit to teaching him this concept right to the very end. Most people start this, but they don't get through the messy middle part, and that's the hardest part. The middle is always the hardest part, right? That's where you have to do the repetitions. That's where there's sometimes setbacks where you're like, God, I thought he knew this and now he's not. And that's where the frustration lies. But I promise you, if you work through it, if you get to the other side of that, place command becomes not only a brilliant command for all your situations, for just when it's you and your hubby and you just don't want to deal with him at 7 o'clock when he's being crazy, you can go put him on place. It's also fantastic for when guests come over. It's also fantastic for longer stays, right? It gets your dog to understand this particular concept of, it doesn't matter that it's the witching hour and you're a little bit crazy, you have to calm down. This is not the time for this. And of course, to add to that, obviously consistency, whenever we're talking about obedience, consistency is the key. And you already know that, you know, you've already blamed your husband. So you already know that. So there you have it, Marianne. That is the obedience answer to this question. Place command would be the obedience, the English as a second language, the obedience concept that your dog needs to understand to make your life so much easier. Now, as an added bonus for you and anyone else that is currently thinking, wow, place command sounds awesome and I would like to do that, or you need to refresh your memory on how to teach your dog place command, I do have one way of teaching place command on video that is currently for free on my website. I have linked it up above this video to the page where this is at. I would encourage you to actually view these now, because very soon these will be taken off the website, as this is part of a module of my Living Beyond Obedience course. Living Beyond Obedience course will be coming out, I'm gonna say January 2019 is probably when it will be finally up and running, perhaps before, but that is the scheduled date. January 2019, Living Beyond Obedience will be coming out, and that place command module will be a part of that and will no longer be free to you. So grab it now, watch it now, take notes now if you want to know more about place command and helping your dog learn the Calm on Command doggy meditation. That is it for this week's episode of Fake Fireside Chats. Join me next week when we are going to tackle more of Marianne's question and talk about the Beyond Obedience answer. Cheers.
Fake fireside.
Nigel and Bro are having a fight.
I'm not having a fight, Connor. I'll probably play.